All right, now that we've set up the all page and we've actually filled it with the lists and libraries that we want to look at, we can now start adding the functionality. Now, one quick thing that I forgot to mention in our last video is that we will want to sort and group these lists so that all is at the top and they are in alphabetical order. You'll notice that our document type field here, agenda, comes before all, which isn't very wanted. So what we may do is go to sort and group, get rid of that old sorting there, and then we select document type and we add it to it. Now this is the ascending sort property that would have been there. We're simply going to edit this sort expression so that it reads not, open bracket, contains, open bracket, scroll to the end of document type, comma, quote, all, quote, close bracket, close bracket. So what this is essentially doing is listing them in ascending order by false to true of things that where the document type does not contain all. So you'll notice down here, everything is true except for this guy, which is false, which is our all node. So when we click OK on that and click OK again, we'll notice that it reorients to all. Now, it may not be alphabetical down here, but you may be able to change that in secondary sorting if that's your sort of need. So onto the functionality. Essentially what we're going to do first is add connections between each of these web parts. So in the EDM template, it is customary to have a filter hierarchy. The idea being is that purpose is at our top level, and you can filter document type by purpose and then filter discipline by document type. It ends up going both ways, but for the sake of this template, it's good to have this sort of hierarchy in mind for how these filters work. So first thing we're going to do is select our purpose web part and add a connection. Now, each of these connections are going to be essentially the same, but very repeated. So we have purpose, and we're going to select send row data to, next, connect to a web part on this page. We are going to do each of these, but first we're going to do document type since it's next, and we're going to select get parameters from. We click next. Now we are actually going to create our own parameter on this site, and like before, we would suggest that you do a coded sort of response. I like to put the name of the column followed by par in big letters. Once we've made that, we can select our column here that we want to match it. Of course, it's purpose. And unlike when we were adding them in before, you don't need to worry about whether there's a period or not at the end. Now, we indicate this selection using purpose or whatever your column value is. Select next. Don't need to set up conditional formatting, and then finish. You'll notice that each of these turned into links with all bolded. This is a sort of stylistic choice so that it's more visual what is actually selected. Now, to continue on with purpose, we're going to add connection again. Same deal, send row of data to, web part on this page. This time we are going to do discipline. We're still going to do get parameters from. And because this is still purpose, we're going to make the same kind of parameter on discipline. Of course, this won't communicate with the document type one. We'll add purpose as what we're going to send over, and simply click indicate current selection using, and click next, and click finish. So that connection's set up, and for our purposes, we only have one more connection, and that is to project management, the library here at the bottom. Parameter values, again, purpose par, okay. We'll do purpose again. Indicate using purpose. No formatting. Finish. So all of the connections we need for purpose have been set up. Now off camera, we're going to do the same thing to document type, discipline, and in essence, this project management library. But because there's already a connection between purpose and document type, we won't be making that one. When we get down to discipline, we won't have to make one for document type or purpose. And project management isn't going to have any new connections of its own. You only need the 3 connections that get made here. So off camera, we will make these connections on document type and discipline, and then come back to talk about how we can actually make these filter the view.